Okay, so this is my Draw My Life for Majira, and because of that, I wanted to focus more on the furry fandom and how that influenced my life. I will talk about my personal life, but I will steer more towards the furry side of it as well as the YouTube side. Also, I can't draw very well, so I have my friend Gers doing it. I was born on June 18th, 1996 in sunny northeast Texas, and I'm not talking about sunny dingo, except it wasn't actually sunny. I was actually born during a severe thunderstorm, or so my mom tells me. And also, my mom's body kind of freaked out when I was born, and her heart almost failed, so I had to stay with my aunt for the first week of my life while she was recovering in the hospital. Luckily, my mother survived, so my immediate family consists of my mom, my dad, and my older sister, who, when I was born, she was about 4, and she definitely looked like a garden gnome. Hopefully she's not watching this. She's very beautiful now. I'm sorry. Growing up, I was always very obsessed with technology. I remember sneaking downstairs in my house to get on my mom's computer after she went to bed. Or sometimes I would take her flip phone and play games like Tetris. Eventually, my parents caved and bought me and my sister our own computers. I spent all of my time on the computer playing Freddy the Fish or Orly's Draw a Story. Shortly after getting my computer, I discovered a video called Numa Numa, and I thought it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. This led me to a website called Newgrounds, which then led me to discovering a lot of other videos. I attribute this discovery to my passion for online video. I was only allowed on the computer for 1 hour a day, which was a real bummer, but when I turned 10, my parents finally let me move my computer from our playing room into my bedroom, which allowed me to sneak in some extra hours, so long as I wasn't on the computer when they came in to check on me. I soon discovered YouTube after my sister's friend was talking about the website. I spent hours upon hours on YouTube, mostly watching Smosh, Brookers, and Neil Cicierega videos. My sister and her friends even agreed to film our own short film with me, and that was my first time ever really editing a video, but that video never made it to YouTube. Years later, I made my own YouTube channel in dedication to the Potter Puppet Pals series by Neil Cicierega. There was this website where you could make your own Potter Puppet Pals scenes, and you could screenshot them, put them in Windows Movie Maker, and make your own video, and I would make music videos with the puppets, or short stories, you name it. I would say the Potter Puppet Pals fandom was the first fandom I was ever in, and I made a lot of great friends through my YouTube videos, but unfortunately I kind of fucked that up. I did some really shady shit that I won't really go into detail on, and I ended up making the entire fandom turn against me, so I deleted my channel and I left. At age 12, I was already completely shunned out by an entire fandom, but looking back, it taught me some valuable lessons on how to treat others on the internet. So between my freshman and sophomore year of high school, I discovered the Furry Fandom, and I was instantly attached. I had a profile on Fur Nation, which is this old website that was taken down. I don't know what happened to it. I would look at fursuits all the time, and I just felt like I found another fandom where I can be myself. And that was a really good feeling. And honestly, it was something I really needed in my life because of everything I had going on. Age 13 through 15 were some of the hardest years for me. Just in those few years, I lost my uncle, 2 of my grandparents, and 3 of my friends in my real life. It was really truly the darkest time of my life. I became really depressed. I wouldn't talk to my family. I would just come home from school and lay in bed. I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't sleep. I would just cry. Sometimes I didn't really even know why I was crying. I just couldn't stop crying. Within a few weeks of this, my parents knew something was up. They noticed that I was never eating dinner and that I became very distant. They ended up sending me to therapy, but this didn't really do any good because I was too anxious to tell the therapist what was going on, so I would just make stuff up. After a few months of this, I ended up losing 50 pounds. I was anorexic, and because of that, I went from being obese to being an average healthy weight, but I obviously wasn't healthy at all. Within these dark months of my life, I began to question religion. I was raised to believe in Christianity, but I began to question if God really exists, because I didn't understand why he or she would allow such amazing people to die at such a young age. This is something that sometimes still haunts me to this day. While I was going through this darkness, I discovered the movie The Lion King, and I watched it for the first time ever. This movie, for some reason, it just hit home for me. After watching it, I watched it again. And I watched it again. And again. And I watched the sequels again. And again. and again. I watched this movie easily 100 times in a single month. It was the only thing that could make me feel any emotion other than complete sadness. After this, things started to look up. I started a blog on Tumblr dedicated to The Lion King, and I would roleplay as Mufasa with a bunch of other people who felt attachments to the movie just like I did. By bonding with the Lion King community, I also started to connect closer with the furry community. I started making new friends online, and I started to feel like myself again. Every day after school, I would get on the computer and I would get on Tumblr until dinner time. Every single day. Home from school, get on Tumblr, go eat dinner. It was fucking great and I loved every minute of it. As I got more involved with the furry community, I started to realize that I needed a persona. I had a few personas in the past, but just nothing stuck until I got Majira. Something about his character design just felt right, and it stuck with me unlike the other designs. Then, in 2013, I went to my first Anthrocon, and this is when I realized that this is something I truly loved. I went there with no friends, just hoping to meet new people. And I did. I met so many amazing people and I had so much fun. I danced at the raves, I met some of my favorite fursuiters, and it was easily one of the best weekends of my life so far at this point. And immediately after Anthrocon, I commissioned my first fursuit, and I had it just in time for Halloween. So a bunch of other stuff happened in high school, like how I was called a faggot in the lunchroom almost every day, or how a rumor went around my school that I have sex with coyotes, or how my entire class found my furry Twitter and they were all looking at it in class. But I'm just going to skip ahead of all that. Let's just go to my freshman year of college. Going to college gave me this huge realization that I only have 4 more years until I go out into the real world and get capped in the ass by life. So I decided it was time to finally try out this YouTube thing. I had always wanted to, but I never truly had the motivation to finally go through with it. So I started posting weekly videos on my personal channel. This new passion for my YouTube channel kind of brought me away from the furry community a little bit. I had plans to go to MFF that year, but I canceled them because I just didn't feel connected with the community like I used to, which ended up being a good thing because that MFF ended up being ChlorineCon. I was genuinely considering leaving the fandom, selling my fursuit, and only focusing on my YouTube channel and my college courses. But this all quickly changed when something crazy happened. Both my and Fitch's favorite makers at the time opened for commissions at the exact same time. Both of us decided, screw it, let's both get quotes. And lucky enough, we both got slots. Right after this, I dove right back into the furry community like I had never left. I made my first furry video, I sold my first fursuit to buy a new camera, and right before Anthrocon 2015, I got my Mischief Maker fursuit. So Vine was a big deal around the time I got my fursuit, so I tried creating some content on there. Me and Fish had a race to see who could get 1,000 followers first. She ended up winning, but I came close. We noticed that a fellow Viner named Kiro the Wolf was asking for questions for a Q&A that he would answer on his YouTube channel. So Fish and I decided, hey, why don't we do that? And we did. And it blew up. That video now has over 200,000 views. So I decided to make more. And make more. And more, and more, and more, and more. And the next thing I know, I have this huge audience that loves watching my content. And this was a big deal for me. It's not exactly what I expected. I kind of expected my personal channel to be the one that blew up, but I'm not complaining too much. Having my furry YouTube channel grow in size was kind of a blessing and a curse, however. I have really bad social anxiety, and I never know how to interact with people, sometimes even my friends. I get shy and embarrassed and easily overwhelmed with social interaction. And before my furry YouTube channel, I never really had heavy interaction with large amounts of people. As time went on, more people would talk to me at cons or online, and it became more difficult for me to deal with. I know I am awkward, and seeing posts online about how people met me and thought I was awkward doesn't really help. But for some reason, I just can't help but feel super anxious around people that I don't know or large amounts of people. I've actually had to leave furry events because I started having anxiety attacks, which is what happened at the YouTube meet this past Anthrocon. But I am getting better, and being in the furry community has helped me learn how to interact more. And I know that if all this had never happened to me, I would likely be way more of a hot mess than I am now. Being in the furry community has also brought me to some of the greatest friendships I could ever ask for. People who understand me, people who get me, people who don't judge me. I've felt so much love and support from the furry fandom, and honestly, it's what keeps me going. And now we're at the present, but there's still so many pages left to this story. It isn't over yet, and I hope to bring all 100,000 of you with me on the rest of my journey through life. Thank you all so much for subscribing. It truly means the world to me, and I can't thank you all enough. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Also, go commission Gerse because she drew all the art and she's really talented, so y'all should go commission her. Okay, thanks, bye.